Hi everyone, it's Kate Milliken, and I am here for another MyCounterpane one-on-one. I am super psyched tonight to be with an old friend of mine, Jason DaSilva, who I have to believe most of you have heard about or read about or been part of some of his projects. And Jason, it is such a pleasure to see you. I'm psyched you're here to talk to us tonight, and I want to kick off, first of all, by saying hi.
Hi, Kate.
Hi.
Hi.
So I wanted just to dive right in. You know, one of the reasons why you came to mind about having a one-on-one with you is I have been part of Facebook, part of Instagram and Twitter, and I've seen so much activity in light of what you're up to. And you kind of have two roles happening in your professional world. You have this beautiful role of filmmaker, and then you're doing a much more interactive project. So I want to kind of lay down the scene for both, for people that don't know. And so why don't you start with telling us a little bit about your filmmaking and specifically your most recent film?
So my most recent film was called When I Walk, and that was a film that came out of the door and really just blew up really fast. So it was in the Sundance Film Festival in 2013. Then did a whole theatrical run. Was broadcasted on PBS BOV in 2014. Then it won an Emmy Award in 2015.
Which, by the way, is such amazing footage. I got to see you getting your Emmy Award. It was so awesome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so it just, I could never imagine taking a film that far. And especially a film about a mess. And the nice thing about it was it really put MS and the disease on a pedestal for the world to see and be aware of.
Why do you think, when you think about it, why do you think that it ended up getting so popular so fast?
That's a good question.
I have an idea.
I think that it is, so it's a combination of my directing style. I think that I had been working on it for 7 to 8 years, so I really put a lot of effort into it, gave it a lot of humor, a lot of things that you wouldn't typically think of when you think of a film about MS. People are like, oh, it's a downer film, I don't want to see that. But I've had friends come up to me and say they watched the film, they loved it, they felt bipolar during the whole film because they would laugh and then they would cry, then laugh and cry. So I think that that is one big thing for the film, is that it not only raised the film love, raised the awareness about MS, but about disability in general, but really did something really different with it.
Yeah, I think stylistically it had some really, you know, certainly it had an animation in it, and obviously it is true, your very verite style I thought was amazing. And, you know, I also think there was something too about your emotional honesty in the film. What's it like for you now to look at that? Because it was really personal.
You know, it's not been that crazy. So, like, I can look at that and say it's a timepiece. And I think at the time, so the hardest time was when it first premiered at Sundance for both Alice and myself. To all of a sudden be like, oh my God, so many people are going to be watching this film. This is really scary. And then to put ourselves out that honestly was really challenging, just to watch the product of what occurred and how people would respond to it. But because people responded so well and because it helped so many other people, we just kind of went along with it. And it lifted up ourselves and then lifted up the crowd along with the film.
What do you think the biggest takeaway is for people, well, I would say either for people that are living with MS or people that aren't?
That's a good question because it's supposed to touch people with MS, but without MS as well. And it's the larger theme is it's the idea of triumph over tragedy. That past things that are difficult, be it MS or otherwise, there is a way out, and there is a way to do things differently and learn from the challenges and mistakes and redefine your life and your trajectory, which isn't always what you think it's going to be in a way that's positive.
So it's a great answer. When we last left off in the film, you were having a baby with Alice, and you now have a son named Jace. Tell me about him, and tell me, one other thing I'd like to say about the film is I think it was such a wonderful juxtaposition of real life events, right? Ranging from falling in love to getting pregnant to having a miscarriage to not being able to get into bed, by yourself, all those stuff. So it was just so real. So tell me about the real part of your life and how it's progressed since that film.
So since that film, just to be brutally honest.
Good, we like that.
Alice and Jace moved to Texas. So they're living in Texas now, and I'm here in New York. So I am doing a feature film follow-up that will confront some of those things. And obviously my MS has gotten worse, and challenge of having a severe disability, having round-the-clock care aides, and looking at things like that. So that's the way things are right now.
Right.
I continue working on the film, work on the Access Map as well. And it's another triumph over tragedy story. It's like, how do you overcome and move past the challenges that occur to you?
So I would like to spit that question right back at you, but I'll wait till the end, right? About you, pursuing all of these things, right, in the face of growing disability. And before I do, let's talk about Access Map for the people that don't know what it is.
Yeah, so Access Map. So imagine I was living in New York City, walking around, and 9 out of 10 places on the city block would be inaccessible to me, and I would not be able to get in. So I thought to myself, wouldn't it be amazing if there was a way to use a website or to have some kind of tracking system to find out where the accessible places are around you? So that's exactly what Access Map is. So it's spelled AXSMAP.com, and it's a website that's devoted to finding all the disability-friendly places and accessible places around you. It's for people with MS and any disability. It's for people that need accessibility, for moms and dads with strollers. It really is something that just touches everyone's lives because if it doesn't affect them, they can go up and down stairs. 1 out of 6 people have a disability. So there's a very good chance that somebody they know or love has a disability, and they'll be able to use it.
And talk about the collaborative nature of the project, which I think is totally kick-ass. How are you getting the information?
Yeah, so it is crowdsourced. Well, we've been doing something called data mining as well, which allows us to get a lot more reviews in there. But crowdsourcing means that people are all around are using the app and finding all the places that are accessible and putting it into the map. So it's on that, it's subjective, right? So there's no one way to view accessibility. So imagine I'm in a wheelchair, but imagine I'm in a cane, using a cane. We may rate someplace differently, but both ratings will show up on the map, and it would take an average of those ratings.
Wow, that's awesome. And how big, from the moment you got it, I have to believe, as somebody who also has a website, you know, you can say when Access Map started, we had X reviews and now we have Y. How much has it actually grown?
When we first started, we had maybe, well, you know, like in the first year, we had 3,000 reviews, I would say. It's a pretty good number.
Totally.
Now we have 120,000 reviews.
That's awesome.
So it's blown up. Plus, we are working with 2 other groups on an initiative called Accessibility Cloud. So there's a group in Germany called WheelMap. There's a group in France called Jixat, and hopefully other people will join us. But Google is sponsoring this initiative, and we're doing it for the UN in particular to track data for them in developing countries. But we're trying to find all the places that are fully accessible all around the world. So it's a big job, and now it's gone that much bigger.
What doors, I mean, literally and figuratively, have opened as a result of this project for you, Jason?
That's a good question, Kate. I mean, I would say not just funding sources. So a lot of doors for working with foundations, corporations, things like that have opened up. But it's also taught me a brand new skill set. So how to, you know, I'm a filmmaker by trade. But now I know how to work with, I don't know all the computer programming that I could know, but I know how to talk to developers, how to talk with programmers, and to make it happen. And that comes with a lot of trial and error.
Oh man,
So Access Map failed. So Access Map failed, 3 times before it really got started. We're in the middle of doing something called refactoring, which takes the whole website, then redoes it from the inside. So while people are using it, they don't even know that this is occurring, but this is happening right now. We're kind of like rebuilding it from the inside out.
Yeah, that's great, because you have to, because it has to scale, or you want it to be more sophisticated, right?
Yeah. And technology shifts and change.
Yeah.
That's why.
Wow. So for you, you know, one of the things, again, is I had wanted to speak with you of being so impressed, you know, ranging from the kind of achievement to Sundance, to being in the White House, right, for a technology forum. You want to tell everyone about that?
Yeah, so at the White House was last year, actually, during the Obama administration. Summer of last year, they invited me to give a talk. So talk about accessibility, talk about disability and the arts. That was a big thing. So like there was a play that was around called Spring Awakening. So the cast was there. There were 3 other people that were also doing disability arts. And we also just had a great conversation. But it was at the White House. It was really nice. I've never been there before.
Well, hey, you know what? I mean, I'm very impressed that you can now say you have. That is a serious bucket list item. I'm just throwing that out there. You know what I mean? So in the world of, you know, as you said, accessibility, disability, and art, these are all 3 subjects that, you know, are kind of themes of your life right now. Where have you found the biggest insight? And I think, you know, I think about a lot of people who watch you from afar and recognize that your disability is progressing and that you have this incredible, like, positive correlation, right? It's like the more your disability is continuing to progress and your success is getting bigger at the same time. So what's that been like for you?
So I think that That's a good question. I think that for me, it comes down to creativity and art. You know, those are the things that really push me forward. It has always pushed me forward. So making art, being creative, those are the things that drive those other causes. So disability, accessibility, the things that are more of like an activist about, they all get driven by my creative work and my art making.
Yeah, I think about it also in the sense of thinking about the general feeling of purpose, right? Because I feel like I can speak from my own experience of having my website and feeling like I really am intent on getting people to kind of tell the story of them and heal each other through their own personal moments.
Right.
I feel like you can relate to that in the, how driven you are to procure these two kind of themes in your life.
That's right. I think it's really important, not just, so for myself, it's like self-therapy, but to watch it helping others is like really nice. And like, it's infectious, like I want to keep doing what I do because it not only helps me, but it helps others with their lives.
Do you feel in light of all the work that you've done, one could look at you, a cautious, conservative person, and say, Jason, you're really worrying me in terms of the way that you're working so hard. You're making your MS worse. How do you respond to that?
I've got that before, and I don't really agree with it. I think my MS will do its course. I try and take care of myself as much as possible. I do have, so I have primary progressive MS, which means there's no treatment or cure. So I rely on things like just find ways to make myself better through like nutrition or the herbs or vitamins, things like that, or just basically assistive devices, things like that, and the help of care aids as well. I think that that's like a very important thing, and just to feel on top of everything, feel good about yourself, and feel on top of everything. That would be my response to those people. Like I've been dealt a shitty card, but I'm trying to make the most with what I've been dealt with.
Well, certainly the whole idea, on some level, thinking about these, your subject topic for your incredible film, for your access map, they came out of your MS, and on some ways that's bittersweet. You wouldn't wish it on yourself again, but right? But it has opened up this incredible life for you.
Yeah, of course. It is not the life that I thought that I would have. I didn't think that I would have MS. I didn't think that all these things would happen. But at the same time, it has happened. And it's opened a lot of really amazing doors for me.
What would you say for the people that are watching tonight, and I hope that there are a ton of them that have primary progressive MS who are debilitated, right, watching you, what would be kind of any type of advice that you would give them in light of what you've learned from your experience?
It's so basic. I would say keep on and stay strong. Like comes down to that. Like look to see what's out there. I know that there's a new medication that's coming out this year for primary progressive, which is the first time that's being offered. It's going to be later this year. So be on top of the newest medications, things like that. But really feel strong inside. That's the biggest thing. And know that things are looking up and things always change. And just because you are dealing with this today doesn't mean that you'll be dealing with it tomorrow. And if you are, just make the most of it, I would say.
Awesome. Well, I feel like you and me have known each other for a decade now, which is a little surreal. Like,
It's
I
crazy.
keep looking around being like, wait, now I'm really an adult.
That's crazy.
Right?
I remember when you were pregnant with your kid,
Yeah,
and that was when we were doing Weekly Moving.
that's right.
This long ago.
2010, which, by the way, you and me with the National MS Society, we went out, and just to tell everybody that we were put on this crazy schedule where we flew 10 weeks in a row, each week to a different place. And it was so unbelievably grueling.
It was crazy, but it was awesome.
It was awesome. It was really cool. And I feel, that experience for me, getting to spend time with people living with MS was really influential. And I think the whole idea of emotional honesty just carries such healing power.
Yeah, I think so too.
So
Totally agree with that. Yeah.
you and me will keep using our respective mediums to work on it. But listen, Jason, I think what you're doing is amazing. It's so powerful, and I'm so thrilled to touch base with you in this time. I'm looking forward to continuing to update everybody on you, and we'll be looking out for your new film, and everybody needs to check out Access Map, which is AXSMAP.com.
That's right.
Okay, good.
Thank you for having me on the show.
I am so glad to see you, Jason. Be well, and we'll see you again soon.
Take care.
Cheers.
Cheers.